And welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Yeah, I know I'm looking a little bit scraggly here. We are taking a whack at underneath the incident responder path. SOC216 suspicious MSI installation. Event ID is 170. Event type is data leakage. And let's see. Looks like it affects the computer named Chris. Your standard MSI exec.exe. Downloads x.msi. So MSI, I believe, is packaged installer file. It was allowed. L1 note, virustotal analysis of x.msi showed that only 5 of the vendors flagged the file as malicious. There is the possibility that the alert is a false positive. I'm escalating the alert for further investigation. Okay, so the L1 went through, tried to take a poke at it, didn't really get any sort of real meaningful results, and I do believe I have it in virustotal, although apparently it's gone up since then. But let's just have it reanalyze while we're going through this. This would have been July, and I'm doing this recording in December, so that's to be expected. Either increase or decrease in the virustotal score. So, I mean, what are we getting? Just Trojan malware, remote shell, PowerShell.remote shell. So we go from 5 to 10, so a doubling in, what, 4 months, give or take? No, 5 months. Anything that I would typically Fortinet to a degree that would be more of the medium or confidence ones. No offense to them, but well, we can go through and take a look and see what else happens in other platforms. So if we take a look, I believe it is in everything. Or at least the major players. So virustotal, nd.run, hybrid analysis, triage. And triage reports it as what? Blocklisted process makes network request. Doesn't really have a name that I see. But if we take a look at like current Windows 10, drop this executable file into the Windows directory. Oh, inside the installer. Yeah, that's typical for MSI. Executes PowerShell requesting to bypass execution policy. To sit there and do a hidden window to bypass execution policy and then to kick off. Then makes a C, literally Deus Ex. Applies the hidden attribute to C Deus Ex, and then uses PowerShell to go and pull down a devil scr.zip and save it into the hidden Deus Ex folder as xray.zip. Hash has been seen before. a whole heck of a lot. I want a copy of this X-ray. Is there anything that denotes, did this pull down and manage to actually do it? Oh, it could be gone. So let's see. I've got this. Oh, it's still there. Allow download. So it seems to be an additional payload. So, granted, we're looking at like 5 months since, so who knows as to whether or not if the contents of that file has changed or not. But let's upload it and see what shakes out. Last uploaded 4 months ago. Okay, so it was observed, and there's the explorer.zip. And the bundled file apparently is a screenshot.exe. With multiple detections. So we know that this was allowed to run. We can assume that, so we're going to be taking a look to see as to whether or not is there a hidden Deus Ex folder in the root of the C drive, because that seems to be where this is pointing. And then what is this? Is there a name of anything that I can add? Gazelle? Potentially unwanted program? Seems like an awful lot to go through for so little. Let's ask it to reanalyze. Stairs. Let's prove that we're human, supposedly, by identifying stairs. But then we don't see anything else in terms of execution from that point. Oh, I guess if I'd paid a little bit closer attention, this would have been here. So at the time that this was run through, that was a 6 delta 7. 6 delta 7. Okay, so probably a good chance. Did you happen to catch this? Oh, it looks like it checks for root of all drives. Well, that's kind of cheeky. It looks like it would extract it then. And we get this devil SCR. So do we get to see it inside of here? Yes. Password for the zip file is infected. And then it goes through and calls that devil scr.exe, and then that sucker runs. So I mean, all this looks sus as all hell. And then we need to try to figure out, okay, where did this come from? July 25th? I don't know if that's even valid anymore. So let's go to July. Right here. Event at, I'm assuming it's supposed to be Apple, APPPLLE. I guess if you weren't paying attention, just quickly look, that would say Apple. Exclusive Easter egg hunt. And there's the direction to the x.zip. Both of those. And to note that the password's infected. Alright, so we've got another piece of evidence here. I'm trying to hide Onyx. Go ahead. You can hide. It's alright. I think the older dog is getting tired of the puppy harassing her. Oh. Easter logo, blah, 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 blah. We'll just grab this. What am I doing? I want a copy link. Because I'm going to include the aspect of the links into this, denoting where this directs to. And just be careful not to click anything. Okay, so this all started then apparently from a phishing email, pretending to be Apple. So Chris apparently needs some additional phishing training. Oh boy. Okay. So we've got a copy of all this. We are going to delete it. And that does appear to be gone. So that's never going to come back for him, which is good. Endpoint. So here's Chris. Oh, so much. Is this organized? Okay, so sooner. This looks like typical startup. Chrome, which would make sense if they clicked the link that was in their email. They pull it down. x.msi. Well, that's interesting considering the fact that we got an x.zip, but let's not think too hard on that. They execute it. It's doing the needful. We get the PowerShell. Spinning off of that. We get Windows Defender doing a signature update. We get the PowerShell making the directory say cdsx. Applying the attribute h or hidden to cdsx. Using PowerShell to go through and download the, well, devilscr.zip, outputting into cdsx xray.zip. We get the extraction using 7-zip with the password infected. And we get the execution of devilscr inside of cdsx. We see cdsx running. We're seeing what looks to be kind of sort of normal. we end up with engine task kicking off. Which makes me wonder if something was written inside of there to kick off. What is Notepad++ doing? That's just going through and doing an update. And then finally we see something from the Sentinel-1 agent. Maybe getting installed after the fact? Let's see, this whole thing kicked off when? 25th, 8:19, so 8:28, give or take 10 minutes from the supposed action. Yeah, we're doing containment. Something fired off on the box. We'd have to have a better idea there. So do we get the reaching out? Yes, we do. So browser history confirms, not that we didn't already know that. Looks like they just go about their normal day. Maybe. Oh yeah, we were waiting on the screenshot. Or... Really? It's not known as double SCR? .28 out of 69. Trojan. I am not familiar with Present Ochre. Looks like everything just basically just picks it up as a nebulous. Yeah. So literally PUA or potentially unwanted application. 17179. Yeah. Dates are all over the place. Wait, this happened on the 25th? Yeah. We don't have any record of it in the perimeter log, so no DNS, no firewall, no this, that, or the other. Also interesting, we don't have the actual exchange log for the email coming in. Interesting. So everything's got to be a combination then, which is fine. Okay, let's connect in. I mean, we've already seen this go through, but let's see if they've left the hidden folder of Deus Ex in the root of the C drive. And then we can go through and do a verification from there of the hash of the executable that would be in there. So I will pause and pick this back up once this is further along. Okay, she's up and running. So we're immediately going to go and poke at the root of the C drive. It's there. A bunch of JPEG files. Empty error mole, empty error log. Oh no, that's neat. It's taking screenshots. Ketchup does not exist. What are you having with these? Tartar sauce. So basically it's just sitting there and taking screenshots. That's it. And it looks like we're cycling back through. So we want to verify 7-zip. So 524. And then 5784. Yes. Okay, so that's the same thing that's there. And no Sentinel-1. Let's just confirm inside the downloads. Yes, we got the x.zip, the extracted for the x.msi. Live.sysinternals. Files. Run 64. Run that as administrator. Process Explorer. Oops. I don't want the SC one. I want the just regular auto runs. I want the happy, pretty little graphics. What? Are these like 32-bit? No, 64. So why? Okay, how about not A? Can you run non-A? Non-A, non-A. Yeah, that one works just fine. Okay. Give me Process Explorer as administrator, please. Looks like Chrome's updating in the background, which is what we would kind of expect. Yeah, that's fine. We'll have the hash submitted there. Come back into this. And what is it? Scan options. Check, submit. I have to approve the terms and conditions. Sure. T's and C's, baby. T's and C's. I don't see anything that looks like it's directly calling. Call xprovider.vbs. System 32. Just looking for anything that basically stands out. That really doesn't. The created 2018, so well before. Whereas if we take a look at the scr.exe, confirms, okay, July 24th as opposed to what was supposed to be the 25th, according to the log. Small inconsistencies. Nothing terrible. So I would definitely say something that's going to sit there and take screenshots. Definitely going to be something we don't really want. On the box, so I guess it's a good thing that it is quarantined. We are going to nuke and pave that sucker. And now we got to go take a look at the sysmon log. Oh, I guess the other aspect would be tuned. I mean, does anything stand out for the... Yeah, a couple. Nginx and CloudFormation. Outside of that, those seem to be the only thing that get picked up. So then I have no idea how this thing is kicking off. I mean, because it's not, well, as far as I can tell, it's not running in the background, whatever this thing is. I think we've got more than enough here to sit there and justify burning this thing down. We need to go earlier in the day. Oh, I thought I saw it. Maybe. There's the extraction. Execution. So maybe it was only good for, maybe it didn't establish any sort of persistence. I mean, possible, good for like one go around. Pray that you get what you need and then move on. Yeah, looks like Defender updates and the like. See, programs. This is still at the time. Image class Kobe. So that would be a non-standard directory. But that looks like that's just an image viewer. Okay, when was the programs directory created? So a bit before the alerting would have gone off. So I guess the biggest aspect would be we'd want to confirm, okay, is that program something that's approved for use inside the organization? Yeah, so I mean, it's possible I could be missing a greater aspect to this. The updating. I mean, the thing is, I don't see the aspect there of those JPEGs being created, but that might be a limitation of the configuration applied to Sysmon. Yes, it looks like 8:20, so as soon as that thing would have been able to sit there and get fired off. No, that would have been 8 o'clock. Again, assuming that it's supposed to be the 25th, not the 24th. Since effectively we've got two different stories, but the email that contained all this didn't show up into Chris's email account until the 25th, so I'm assuming it's just a hiccup when this was being created. Because we would have got the email at 7:11. Execution of the x.msi would have been 8:19. So that would track. So 1 minute, and it looks like a screenshot every minute till then, up till 8:44. So if we go I might have been turning it off at that point. So enough to basically go through and do that, and then obviously with no apparent persistence mechanism, that's why we're not seeing it now. Okay, so I think we've confirmed the stuff in there. Yeah, I am just not familiar with this image class. Is it simply just a image viewer? Is that what? Versatile image viewing application is that it takes place a photo viewer in. Okay. Just another option that's become available that I just haven't paid any sort of attention to. I mean, oh, there is a replacement that I've used for the longest time. Of course, now I have no idea what it's called. I think it was available inside of 9 nights. You could just automatically install it. Yeah, ErfenView, that's what it is. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, I don't think we need any of this. The sysmon log tells us the same story that the console's log, the platform log for endpoint security git, tells us effectively that this stuff was kicked off. We know it was executed. We know that the hashes match everything else like that. So we've got effectively, I think, what we need. So that's fine. Just, yeah, remote session will be disconnected. That's fine. We'll go back to this and we'll kill it. So we're not wasting. And then that explains the aspect for Reddit because, okay, yeah, they were doing web surfing afterwards. They had this stuff going. And then for all the pictures to be taken, up to the point where they shut the system down. Still not entirely sure as to why we don't have endpoint logging underneath log management for Chris's workstation. That seems like that's a failing, but that'd probably be something we should bring up. I mean, if they're off net or something along those lines, maybe like split tunnel, VPN, something to that effect, then it's going straight out their home internet connection. Whereas the work-related stuff would be pivoted through back into the organization as a potential explanation. And then the endpoint agent copies the web browsing history into and shows the rest of that stuff as to why we can see there, as opposed into log management, which would be more apparently like perimeter firewall and the like. So we want to make sure that that's adjusted because Chris is on our double secret probation. He done did the stupid. I mean, it's not even that convincing of an email from Apple and you fell for it. But who knows? I mean, one of those terrible situations where maybe he got bad news, so he wasn't, mentally focused on what he was looking at. This isn't a new question. I don't remember seeing this before. Storage-based data collection techniques. Storage-based data collection techniques are focused on collecting and analyzing data from various sources. Detection methods involve monitoring and analyzing such as email, cloud storage, local systems. Have you seen any suspicious user or process activity that may be related to data collection? Yeah, from the local system. Interaction-based data collection techniques are focused on capturing user and physical device conditions, such as capturing user interactions and device-related data, such as input capture, screen capture, video capture, and audio capture. Which MITRE technique was used in this incident? Screen capture, because that's what we found, a nice collection of the end user after having this stuff go through, a bunch of JPEGs with while they're searching Reddit and everything else. And then when we looked at the text files that were in there, they were empty. So notice anything go out. I really didn't. And of course, log management doesn't help in this particular regard. But if we take a look, network activity. I mean, there was activity before this stuff kicked off. Realistically, I would think that we would be looking for roughly something around 8:44 before everything was cut off. But I guess here's the aspect. Is there anything that looks like it's been constantly communicated back to? And it would have been every minute by what that looked like, assuming that it was doing a direct upload every single time. So realistically, what we would probably want to do is go through and do an analysis to see, okay, how many times do any of these IP addresses actually show up? And then can we then break it down to anything further? So, okay, we're going to take a stab at that. Hang on. Okay, there's repeats. I checked the web browser history. I'm not seeing anything that really stands out all that much to me. I could very well be missing something though. Checking through triage. I don't see anything being called for that devil SCR in terms of communications. Nothing for her hybrid analysis. Seeing as how the only thing they show is the IP address, which then basically goes back to the Amazon AWS domain for pulling down the devilscr.zip, or no, .exe, and then, no, zip, and then outputting it as x-ray.zip. It doesn't really seem to be much in the line of network connectivity, although we don't necessarily inside of here see the run through, given the fact that, I mean, I am not seeing anything that stands out. I mean, I really wish I did. I mean, the only thing I see is this contextualmedia.net checksync.php, but they're going through and browsing a bunch of web pages. So, I mean, I very well could. I guess, okay, if we were to just say take that and dump it into virustotal, does it come back and flag at all? Could this be sync, as since the installer was flagged as potentially unwanted application, maybe something to do with trying to signal back consistently? Behavior. Did we have anything here that stood out regarding like web activity? No, not really. It did make a JPEG though, but no apparent comms. So if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. Nothing that's absurd. Investigate the host associated with the alert, determine if the activity is false positive or potentially malicious. Involves verifying system activity, analyzing user actions, checking known software tools, assessing system configuration, analyzing network traffic, and utilizing threat intelligence. Yeah, I can't say that I've used the threat intelligence for too much. But like, say we go into July, and like all of July. Nothing? Oh, several things. How about URLs? As opposed to hashes. Oh God, that's so much. Yeah. We're going true positive considering the fact the activity. Does nice need to be isolated? Yes, it's already been done. Eradication, nuke and destroy. Nuke and pave. Okay, lessons learned. How the attack happened. Email from a very crappily designed lookalike domain for apple.com was sent to Chris. Contained a link to a file host in AWS. x.zip that apparently was downloaded, extracted. x.msi, which was then run on Chris's workstation, which then reached out, pulled down a devilscr.exe, wrote that into a freshly created c/dsx that was hidden, and then started going off. How about staff and management perform? Well, I mean, Chris just did an absolute failure because that email was atrocious. L1, yeah, they did job that could be expected. I mean, they took the hash, checked virustotal, seen that it was there, and it didn't look like a whole heck of a lot of anything. I did not see anywhere in the endpoint security tools denoting that a folder was created, short of just going through the process tree and seeing the actual creation. But you would have to interpret all that. Staff management do differently. Or end user training. Something else besides Windows Defenders on the box, potentially. Um, Maybe set up some sort of endpoint alert for the various agent to check for file folders being created and then hidden to try to detect on something like this occurring. Corrective actions. Biggest thing is more fish training for Chris. Precursors or indicators that we watch for in the future to detect similar activity. Named MSI files, or any sort of downloading of an MSI file. Maybe with exceptions of like IT support, something to that effect. Again, some sort of rule for the endpoint agents to alert on newly created folders being or having the H attribute applied for hidden. learning on PowerShell for execution bypass. Oh, and then we get to all the fun. So we're going to end up with a few MD5s. We're going to have the X that we're going to want. The so select devil scr.exe. Oh, no, go back. Okay, we're going to have the two MSIs. We're going to have x.msi. We're going to have devil scr.exe. Once we are going to have the email sender, email domain. We're going to have the URL. Okay, so let's grab again. Try not to go too fast this time and go past it. We're going to skip the zip file because it's password protected, even though we know it's the password infected. But we're more care about the MSI and the exe. Email. Let's see. We're going to reuse that because we need the domain. The URL in question that we were sent. So we'll copy that link. Phishing email. Grab the one for the other zip. So URL address to the double source. Payload download. Okay, so we've got the hash for the MSI, the exe, we've got the portion for the email, for the email sender, this domain, and the link that was in the email, and then the actual URL address to the second stage payload that was stored. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Cristiano executed I'm just going to call it malicious MSI file from a phishing email masquerading as from apple.com. Phishing has created a hidden folder, the root of the C drive. Deus Ex. And downloaded the second stage to that folder. CRDIC seem to create screenshots every, in other words, say every minute. Being displayed the screen. I have no idea as to whether or not there was actually any, but hopefully this will have a write-up we can take a look at. So I can compare. Close alert, true positive, paste in the note that we had there. Search space data collection techniques. The answer is none. Extracting browser data from with no write-up. Interaction based. Okay, well, here we go. A very interesting case. I'd only managed to score a medium, but then again, when the MSI file itself is only, at the time, picked up by 5 engines, none of them as major players, if I remember correctly, I guess it would be understandable. Unlike the updated results, 10 out of 61, but again, 5 additional months have passed, and realistically, there'd only be what I would consider medium confidence players that are detecting anything from that. Not gonna makes me wonder. Take this MSI and run it through and see as to whether or not if it would have been stopped, like AppGuard or something. I don't know. But so there we go. That has been for July 25th, 2023, 8:19 a.m. SOC 216 suspicious MSI installation, EventID 170, type data leakage. And of course done 5 months since this actually occurred. Well, I have to imagine if this was real life, probably would be looking for another job if it was taking this long to go through this stuff. But thankfully, time is an illusion on the platform. Anyways, so with all that being said and everything all done, hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully, I mean, if you found something that I missed, especially if you found any sort of sign for exfil, although they didn't. Yeah, Daddy Xville. Okay, so it looks like I was right on that particular portion. But yeah, leave a comment or don't. Not gonna twist anybody's arm. So with all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video.